Money isn't paper. Money is permission. It's energy condensed into symbol. It's humanity shared agreement of value. Do you want to learn how to manifest the money that you deserve with the spell of prosperity and abundance? Check it out, because today we're going to crack the code of prosperity. Hello everybody, my name is Naya, and on this channel we talk everything about esotericism, mysticism, spirituality, manifestation, and more. And if you're interested in this type of content, down below you have access through my link to my Patreon community, where we post one extra video a week. There's membership here on YouTube, and obviously for all my services, the links are down below for coaching. There is one-on-one coaching as well now available on my website and on my Ko-Fi shop, and more I'm gonna tell in today's video about the code of prosperity. But now let's get started. Money is just the code, the shared code of humanity about value. Every coin, every number, every piece of paper, and every single digit that you see on the screen shares and mirrors the value that you have about yourself, as reality in and of itself is a mirror. And it mirrors how much you are safe with money and how much you're safe to hold it. Ancient mystics knew this before even quantum physics. In fact, in ancient Hermetism, there is a very well-known saying, also in witchcraft, as above, so below, as within, so without. That means that outer wealth, money, it's an echo of your own personal vibration. So if your energy carries fear, guilt, or lack, reality will only mirror that vibration back to you. Think about even societal programming. Money, filthy rich. The rich are always the villain. Bad people are rich. All of these belief systems are always echoed to you through your own personal vibration, and also the opposite of it. In Kabbalah, an ancient practice of Judaistic mystics, abundance flows through the Sephirot, the 10 divine spheres and emanation. It begins with Keter, the crown, pure potential, the idea of creation itself, and descends through Chokmah, wisdom, and Bina, understanding, down to Malkuth, the kingdom, the physical manifestation. Money, wealth, success, opportunity, they all live in the realm of Malkuth, the realm of the material, the realm of the 3D, of actualized manifestation. But nothing reaches Malkuth, the level of the 3D, unless it travels clearly through the spheres that we mentioned before. If your understanding of money or even wisdom is limited, or even your self-worth, your beauty is limited or blocked, that blocks the current down to the manifestation realm. And basically, it slows down. In Kabbalah and Kabbalistic practice, they call it the break of the vessel, because you're breaking those 10 sephirot, you're breaking the higher realms to reach the vessel. You're breaking it, essentially the vessels, to reach Malkuth, to reach manifestation, because energy without structure collapses. In practicality, what all of this means, if your belief systems, if your assumptions cannot hold abundance, then abundance leaks away. That is why there are so many examples of people reaching abundance and just losing it right away. Thinking about people that win the lottery but still hold limiting beliefs, or actually beliefs that don't allow these vessels to flow, money leaks away. And the same goes for success. That is why wealth, money, and success can only be accomplished if you're spiritual. And this is why one of the most narrow-minded, limiting beliefs that have ever existed in humanity at large is that if you're spiritual, you cannot have money. If you want to be successful, you're not spiritual. If you're wealthy, you're a villain. That is only the belief of very narrow-minded people who don't understand the current of energy and how this reality actually operates. operates. In Hermetic principles, which I made a video, by the way, about the 7 laws of the universe, there is one law, which is one of the most important, and it's the first principle, that everything is mental. Everything in reality is just a projection of consciousness rearranged differently. And guess who taught this? Neville Goddard. Is basically mentalism is the equivalent of Neville Goddard law of assumption. Neville used to say, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and it will harden into fact. Neville wasn't talking about pretending. Neville wasn't talking about fake it until you make it necessarily, or living in Delulu and spending money away. And he wasn't even talking about conjuring a feeling out of nowhere. Neville was talking about reprogramming your subconscious mind. And essentially, he was talking about occupying the frequency through your state of consciousness, through your identity of the reality that you want to experience. Because at the end of the day, assumption is nothing but a neurological command. And we're going to talk about it in just a second, so follow me through. But before I talk about the neurology behind it and the science behind it, and we are going to link it to mysticism, guys, if you're interested in really working on this neurological pathway and imprinting the code, yes, I'm going to give you an exercise even today that you can do, and it is going to work. But I have just created the last mini course of my spell series, which is the mini course for the prosperity spell. You can find it on my Ko-Fi shop at a discount price right now. It's a special price for the people who get it first. And essentially, we are going to go deeper through the mini course, so a 40 minutes video on this meaning and how to reprogram your brain. And then you're going to have 2 meditations, just like the love spell, to start reprogramming your mind for prosperity and abundance, wealth, and success. All the links are down below. But now let's talk about why assumptions in actuality are just neurological commands. When you imagine yourself to be wealthy, as Neville Goddard would have put it, or even when you affirm for it, you imagine yourself to have even a specific amount of money, your brain fires the same neural pathways that will fire if you would actually already have received the money. Isn't that magic in and of itself? That is how powerful your brain is, and ultimately how powerful you can be. This obviously changes a lot. When your brain changes, it changes your micro expressions, it changes your behavior, and ultimately your electromagnetic field. And obviously, as we said previously, because all is mental, the universe or your world has to mirror that matched frequency that you are emanating through your own personal electromagnetic field. So think about it like an antenna. You are emanating through your new command, a new electromagnetic field, and the world receives this new electromagnetic field and mirrors it back to you. Is literally this simple. And let's talk about it from a psychological standpoint. In psychology, wealth is not about numbers, but it's truly about safety. Every person, in fact, according to psychology, holds an archetype that is being formed by around age 7 of what money means to them. And this is deeply important because even I believe the ancient, in ancient Kabbalah or in Judaism, they have a saying where they go like, give me a man age 0 to 7 and I will give you back a man. Because they already acknowledged, and not just in Judaism, but the ancient mystics, that by around ages 0 to 7, the subconscious mind of a child is wide open, and that is the best moment to reprogram a person, a child brain. Because even in psychology, we know that around age 7, certain archetypes are getting formed, and they will be formed and be shaping the rest of a person's life unless you consciously reprogram them. And so money, according to psychology, really is connected to safety. So, to talk about it in a very practical sense, if you have been seen as a child, arguments about money or connection with money, with scarcity, conflict, maybe because money doesn't grow on trees, or because every single time that you heard your parents talking about money, it was always about how much there wasn't enough money, or it created a divorce or tension, then automatically, unfortunately, your subconscious mind will associate money with danger. It will associate money with the opposite of safety, with feeling in conflict, the feeling of tension. And so if you associate money subconsciously and you link it to danger, your brain is doing this automatically, then obviously every single time that you will approach success or wealth or money, you will most likely have some programming of auto-sabotage, and money will leak away because the vessels and the energy is literally blocked from the start through your assumptions and through your belief system that were basically programmed by society or when you were a child. That happens extremely frequently. But here's the catch. Manifestation, yes, it boils down to identification, but the way we crack the code is through awareness. So how do we rewire, therefore, our brain? We rewire our brain through awareness, and basically by telling our nervous system that every single time that you see money, then it is safe for you to be around money. Long story short, you need to give new evidence to your nervous system, a new story, in order to see a new reality. That is why practices such as affirmations, gratitude, and visualization work, because they retrain your brain to associate money with a new story. For example, gratitude, which is even taught in the movie The Secret, why it works in and of itself, because it retrains the nervous system, your brain, to associate money with calm and safety. So every single time that you spend or receive money, you don't feel anxious or panic, but you feel gratitude, you feel safety. And remember, we know that psychologically, money is associated with safety in and of itself. And in order to experience something in reality, because everything is mind, we need to mirror back the same frequency. So if money is safety, we need to feel safe. And money comes and flows, because at the end of the day, money is flow. Does it make sense? Let me know in the comment section down below, and let's continue. So what essentially we are doing on a psychological and neurological standpoint, we are retraining the survival brain to associate money with not only abundance, but with primordial safety. And that is the deeper programming that we want to do, not only if we want to manifest money, but if we want to hold it. And now let's talk even more about the science and my favorite part of the brain, which I discuss in every single video, because that is magic. So is the reticular activating system. Your reticular activating system is your biological filter. Think about this, and this is explained in a very simple term. So I apologize if you are a neuroscientist, please bear with me. I'm trying to explain it as easy as possible, but essentially in simple terms, your brain, your reticular activating system filters 99% of reality and hides it from your brain and shows it to you, let's say 1%. In reality, it shows you even less than that. And this is the reason why two people living in the same city, perhaps even in the same block of flats, one can have wealth and prosperity and see synchronicity and opportunity, and the other one sees scarcity and lack, because the reticular activating system of these both people are showing them two different realities, completely existing simultaneously. Isn't that magic? So if you tell your brain money is hard to make, your reticular activating system will show you evidence that money indeed is hard to make, and it will show you more and more and more and more evidence of that. That is why many spiritual people who might not even know the power of the reticular activating system, they say things where focus goes, energy goes, but that is just biology. It's your biological filtration, because whatever you pay attention to, your mind has to expand, because your reticular activating system will only filter through confirmation bias what you believe. So everything is true at the end of the day. And we enter the realm of quantum physics over there, but I explain more in my mini course about the quantum theory. But besides that, so obviously if we're going to tell our brain the opposite, the money is good, the money is easy to make, the money flows everywhere, there is abundance everywhere, guess what? Your reticular activating system will show you synchronicities, opportunities, and evidence that indeed you are right. So every affirmation that you do, it's not just wishful thinking. It is a code. It is a spell. It is your new perceptual evidence through your words and your beliefs. All ancient traditions will agree with me and with this video. Energy needs to circulate. In ancient Chinese practices, even in acupuncture, there is this belief that energy, if it doesn't flow, if blood doesn't flow, is stagnant. In Kabbalah, block flows creates imbalances in the manifestation. Modern physics, energy never disappears, it only transforms. And even Florence Scovel-Shinn, one of my favorite teachers, used to say, when you hoard money because you are afraid to lose them, you contract the energy and you end up losing. And this is even I'm not a financial advisor, but everybody knows that because of the power of inflation, if you hold or hoard money, even in a saving account as just cash without any sort of interest rate, it will stagnate. That is just common sense, but it is so common, yet people don't do it because they are not programmed to think like the rich. Money, remember this, if you want to be wealthy, even if you want to do it on just a logical standpoint, money has to flow. If you hoard it, it contracts, and even through the power of inflation, it goes down. It just goes down. You don't multiply it. It's the nature of money in and of itself, on a mystical perspective, on a psychological perspective, and on a common sense perspective. When you spend with gratitude, which doesn't mean that you overspend, but when you spend with gratitude even what you can, you are signaling to the universe, you're signaling to your reality that money flows. And because money is flow, it comes back to you. Because it is not about reckless spending, it's about energetic reciprocity. Money loves to move to those who move it with intention. Watch the interviews of wealthy people. Try to go and study how rich people think. And yes, there are bad examples of rich people. I know that. But they're not all bad. And look around, because manifestation boils down to identity. You have to become that version of you. Rich people know how to move money with intention. So if you understand this, you are already halfway to produce abundance in your life. And your brain will do the rest. Your brain will come up with opportunities, solutions, and ideas because it's the nature and the magic of your brain through the reticular activating system. In the tree of life, the heart sphere, Tiferet, is the bridge between heaven and earth. It represents beauty, and beauty is valued, perceived. When you recognize your own beauty, when you recognize your own value, when you recognize your gift, you are restoring the balance of Tiferet. You are restoring your state of consciousness. And abundance flows through you again, because that's the nature of the Kabbalistic Sephirot. Every part from the higher self to the beauty, self-value, and identity to the realm of manifestation, this channel, this vessel has to flow freely. That is why when you think that you are not worthy of obtaining money or success, you block the sphere, you block the abundance, you block the possibility to hold it or to even obtain it. But when you work even on your self-value, your beauty, you recognize your gift, you allow this balance of Tiferet, the beauty sphere, to be balanced enough in order to move through the Sephirot and manifest into actuality. That is why somebody like Madonna in recent podcast of Jay Shetty, she replies in a stunned way to Jay and says, but people that don't associate success with spirituality, they are extremely narrow-minded, because she studied the Kabbalah. She knows how to move energy. She's absolutely aware, and you should listen to that because she's telling the truth. That is why having self-worth, it's not vanity, but it's spiritual alignment. Manifest wealth unless you believe that you are the vessel, so your body and your mind has to match the light. And lastly, quantum physics echoes what mystics have always said and what we have been saying so far. Reality is observant dependent. You have to collapse the wave of possibility because everything exists, like Neville Goddard used to say. Everything is already being created, but it exists as a probability. That's why the tarot are very fascinating, because they read probabilities. They read the potential waves so that you could collapse, and they call it the future. But in actuality, they are always in the present moment. They are always available to you. So the observer effect proves that whatever you observe will collapse reality if we take the premise that reality is observant dependent. So whatever you as the observer pay attention to, observe, collapses that possibility. So we have explained why this spell, why this magic works from a mystical perspective, from a psychological perspective, from a neurological perspective, and now from a quantum perspective. Are you still doubting that you can have money? You shouldn't. So now let's do together your prosperity spell and the exercise that I want you to do in order to manifest the money into your life. Now that I gave you the mystical, spiritual, psychological, neurological, and quantum physics explanation of why it works. So step number 1, assume the frequency of wealth now. I want you to answer my question. How would you walk if you would have the money that you always desired? Don't see it somewhere else in the future. I want you to know, how would you walk? How would you walk? This is very simple. You don't need money right now in order to change your walk. You don't need anything outside of yourself. How would you walk? Can you visualize it? Can you do it? Can you put some music? I used to do that when I was manifesting money. Like, just put some nice music, if you like music, of course. Go out in the street. Nobody cares. Don't worry. If you have social anxiety, like I'm telling you, nobody cares. Walk as you would have money. Change that. Assume the frequency of wealth now. Step number 2, circulate energy through gratitude. 10 minutes of affirmation, an Ho'oponopono prayer, some gratitude. I am so happy and grateful because money is coming. Or better, I am so happy and grateful because I've got specific amount of money. And by the way, if you are going to affirm, I am so happy, you are preventing yourself to get money in weird or unexpected negative way because you are so happy about it. Gratitude and affirmation of happiness circulate the energy of money that you want to manifest. So step number 1, assume the frequency. Step number 2, circulate energy through affirmation. Now, step number 3, reprogram your reticular activating system as part of the spell. How would I do that, Nia? It's easy. Pay attention to every single part of reality that tells you that abundance is easy to make. How did I do with that? Come on, you guys. You got ChatGPT, you got YouTube, you got so many things to look around. For some people, abundance is extremely easy. Check out success stories, interviews of richer people, celebrities that you like if you're willing, if you want to manifest success. Retrain as a step number 3, your reticular activating system, that indeed money can be calm, indeed money can be easy, and you can get it too because you're not different from other people. Train your reticular activating system. Step number 4, anchor your worth. Remember the Sephiroth sphere, Tiferet, the beauty. Your self-worth, your value, your gifts need to be appreciated in order to bring balance in that particular sphere of yourself. And in order to see money coming into your life, because money is associated with the human perception of value. So work on that self-concept, work on your beauty, what you can offer into the world, how much beauty you can give back to the world, and that Sephiroth, Tiferet, the beauty and self-worth will balance itself and will help you out descend it into money, into actual manifestation. Repeat this daily for 30 days, not as a bland repetition, but as a new identity. Because manifestation, it's not about getting, it's about becoming. To conclude, in Kabbalah, money, energy, abundance, everything that we experience starts with the crown, starts with the sphere of Keter, the crown, mentalism, the pure thought, and ends in Malkuth, the kingdom, the manifestation, the 3D world. When crown and the kingdom connects, the circuit completes. But here's the catch. You are both the crown and the kingdom. You are both the idea and the incarnation, the mind and the matter. You are the Sephiroth. So breathe in and feel it. You are the prosperity code. You are the spell of abundance. The bridge where energy turns into form. And from this moment onward, every breath, every walk, every move will breathe the identity of wealth. And this will be the spell that will keep the current alive and will be mirrored back to you in your own reality. Because yet again, I'm gonna say it for the last time, manifestation is really not about getting, but it's all about becoming. I love you guys, and I hope you enjoyed today's video and it was informative. Remember that if you want to dive deeper into this, we got my last mini course of the spell series, all dedicated to abundance, with 30 days, 2 meditations that you can practice. They're guided meditations made by me, obviously. And for all my coachings and services, all the links are down below. I love you guys, and I'll see you next Friday. Subscribe and hit the ring bell button to always get notified of my new videos. Bye!